Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at GrowFold. So today we'll be local plant shopping at Pitas Planters out in Dallas, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video, as well as following me on Instagram at GrowFold. It is a beautiful morning out at Pitas Planters, and you already know plant foldies. For those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. You can see that she has some beautiful plants ready and set to go. We've got a table full of little Hoya starters right over here, and what a gorgeous looking Hoya Chelsea hanging basket. You can see that this one is for $34, and then we also have this one plant which I think is a need in Variegated Alocasia odora. So what a beautiful plant. This one is for $94. But before we actually enter Pitas Planters, I did want to show you a short trailer of a new project I'm part of.
Hey, I'm Steve from I Lift Plants, and that's what I do. I lift plants and spirits.
I'm Janae. My passion is to elevate plants with beauty and style.
Hi, this is Richie. I'm always finding cost-effective plant finds at big box stores and local nurseries.
And the three of us
make Cultivation Corner.
So please make sure you are following us on Instagram at Cultivation Corner. That is a new podcast that we will be debuting soon. And we actually filmed it at Pitas Planters. That's where most of our episodes are going to come from. But as you can see right here, it is a beautiful day. And I love showing Pitas Planters plants just because she always brings in a lot of different unique plants. You can see that is a full hanging basket of Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil. That is an air plant right there, and then another Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil. Easy to care for plant, and she just recently got these Philodendron Yopii or Jopiis. What a beautiful philodendron. It's an actual like pretty nice size for a Philodendron Jopii. And then what else do we have here? So she recently started to get a lot of nice variegated philodendron, like this Philodendron White Princess. Look at how gorgeous that half moon is. This is only for $26 in a 4.5 inch planter. Really nice size. And what I like about the Philodendron White Princess, the ones that are being offered at Pitas Planters, is she has some really good variegated Philodendron White Princess. Now here's the thing about Philodendron White Princess, just like Philodendron Pink Princess, you want to get one that has quite a bit of variegation, because the initial variegation is what dictates or pretty much shows you what type of variegation that plant is going to give you long term. So more variegation, better variegation like that with the genetics, it's going to give you that nice marbling effect. And then we can see right over here, there is another Philodendron White Princess. This one again is only for $26. And I remember purchasing some, actually one from Pitas Planters, like a week or two ago. And you can see that she keeps these in stock fairly well. And then we have some classic Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue Pothos. These are for $14, and this is a pretty fast growing pothos plant. The thing about Cebu Blue Pothos is it does need a little bit more light, and you definitely don't want it to dry out too long, because this, of all the pinnatums, I think is one that will get leggy if you don't give it enough light. And then also if you just let it go through bouts of drought, it will actually decline in its health. So you've got to stay on top of those two requirements for the plant to thrive. And then you can see right here, we've got Hoya Black Margin. This one is, I believe, for $18. And if you want to be a Hoya head, if you have entered the Hoya era, I would go to Pitas Planters, because she carries quite a bit of Hoyas available for purchase. You can literally start your Hoya collection by just going to Pitas Planters. And what I also love about Pitas Planters is, while it is a small shop, like the space isn't quite large, it still creates a huge impact with the amount of plants per square footage. And that's the thing. If you are one of these people that likes different types of plants, you can definitely go to Pitas Planters, because whether you're into philodendron and you want to buy one like this Philodendron Jopii, instead of going on into an online shop, you can actually just spend time at Pitas Planters, and you'll be able to find a really nice philodendron or some type of Hoya for a really cost-effective price. You wouldn't have to go online or even go to several big box stores or local nurseries to find plants. And you can see this plant right here was kind of stuck. That one is a Philodendron Golden violin. I love this. And with this particular philodendron, just like most neon yellow colored plants, you want to give it quite a bit of light. And then this one is a climber, so you need to make sure that you're giving it some type of support for the plant to really give you the maximum beauty that it can offer. And then this is a plant that I have on my wish list. This is a variegated Sansevieria starfish, $55. But what I like about this variegated Sansevieria starfish is it's not going to be a difficult plant to grow. It can actually tolerate lower light conditions. It can actually tolerate long, drought periods where you don't water the plant, and it will still live. This one right here is another Philodendron heteroraceum Rio. I actually want to get another Philodendron heteroraceum Rio and let it trail. Like, I've been looking at propagating lots of trailing plants, and that is one that I want to add to my collection. And you can see that large Philodendron Macaulay's finale, that was only for $35 for that size of a philodendron. So really good pricing again at Pitas Planters. A lot of people will assume that a local plant shop would have really expensive plant pricing, but for me, Pitas Planters actually has cost-effective pricing. It's within the range of what you would pay for. Like Anthurium crystallina for this size, $32. That is not a bad price at all. And I have officially entered the Anthurium era, or my Anthurium phase. I have started to become obsessed about them. I love the look of them, and the reason why I've become obsessed about Anthuriums is because I have found a viable substrate that I can grow them, and they're not as finicky. I grow my Anthuriums in semi-hydroponics, so all of them are growing in pond. As you can see right over here, I'm going to be pulling another Anthurium hybrid. This is another Anthurium clavinarium, I think, but you can see that it's got a unique shape to its leaf. The leaves actually look more like bat wings, and you can see that it's starting to push out that unique feature. And what I like about Anthuriums is you can literally hybridize them, because you can grow them from seed, and you can see different types of traits coming out of them. Not a single seed will have the same type of genetics or traits. So it's interesting to see what you can get out of Anthuriums. You can see this is a Philodendron orange marmalade. This one is for $34. And with Philodendron orange marmalade, you have to give it quite a bit of light for it to do well. And Pita actually has some unique and uncommon Sansevieria starfish type plants. This one is Abbey Crown. This one I haven't seen before, but it is really interesting. And then this one, which I need to get, is a Sansevieria hedgehog. That one is for $18. So it looks like a starfish, but the hedgehog almost looks like a hedgehog. And I think that that's super cool. It's got a nice name. What I appreciate about Pitas Planters is the majority of her plants will have a specific plant name. I know we're always looking for plant IDs, so I appreciate that about this particular plant shop. For those that don't know the story of this plant shop started out as a business that used to do pop-up shops. It is run by Lupita and her partner David, and they ended up getting a brick and mortar plant shop created. And I've seen their business grow in the last couple of months, and I'm super excited that they continue to grow, and hope that for those that actually live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we would take a trip to Pitas Planters, because you can see she has an Epipremnum aureum, Shangri-La. She just has so many plants. And look at, if you're an Anthurium lover, you can go here and choose your Anthurium, choose your poison, choose a plant. But it has been really nice to see them grow. I know that Pitas Planters recently did part of a show of plants at Dallas, the Plant Con Dallas 2024, where they were able to be a vendor there. So it's just super exciting that they are participating in that, and they are continuing to bring lots of unique plants. I mean, you can see right here we've got a Syndapsis exotica. That is another plant that I would add to my collection. And then we've got some wish list plant that I really want. I have a variegated Pachira aquatica, but I would love to get another one. I would like to get this variegation where you've got that Albo white cream variegation here. Now this one is for $165, and some people would say that that's kind of pricey, but honestly, for the size of the Pachira aquatica, the variegation on it, that actually is only $154. That's a pretty good price. you know, a lot of these Pachira aquaticas, the variegated forms, are still quite expensive. So if you're still looking for one, at least you don't have to worry about buying it to be sent in the mail if you are a local Dallas Fort Worth plant lover. Anthurium fingers for $18, and I didn't really mean to purchase a plant today. I'm actually out here meeting up with Janae Simone and Stephen of I Live Plants to do a couple of trailers and teasers for our new plant podcast, The Cultivation Corner. But this is a plant that I thought was really cool, so I'm going to buy this. And that's the thing, I am gonna literally spend all of my plant money at Pitas Planters because she does carry all of the plants that I like. I love the fact that her plants are super healthy, and she always has unique plants. Like literally everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, you're gonna find a really nice find. For instance, this is a Dieffenbachia crocodile for $22.50. If you like Dieffenbachia, especially the unique varieties like this, you can go to Pitas Planters. She does have a Dieffenbachia reflector, which is right next to it, which is basically the Dieffenbachia crocodile. The pattern looks pretty similar, except it's got more of a velvety texture to a Dieffenbachia, which is actually unique because Dieffenbachias are typically not velvety in texture. You can see right here, this is another Aglaonema. This is an Aglaonema Green Army. Now, the thing about Aglaonema Green Army, and this is only for $20, that is a really good price. Look at how the shimmer of the leaves are. It has like a silver metallic shine to it, and I ended up getting one of these a while back. It's still doing very well for me, and I am tempted to purchase a second one. You know, whenever you talk about plants that you can have multiples of, I will never get tired of having multiples of Aglaonema. I think they're amazing, and it's another plant that I definitely want to add to my collection. And then you can see over here, plant foldies, we've got the classic Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. Now this one is for $14. So if you want a starter Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, I would go ahead and get this. I know that at a big box store, Costa Farms Plants tends to sell this as a trending tropical for $19.84. But if you want a smaller starter one, you can go to Pitas Planters, for instance, and get that. And with Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, it is a fast growing plant. It's one that will force itself to growing upward. So you're still needing to get a pole or some type of stake to support it. And can we talk about how beautiful these little planters are? This is such a cute little planter. This one was 3D printed, and that's the name of the shop, Pitas Planters. And Pita has some unique planters that are handmade by herself. And you can see that these are some of the 3D planters that she's making. She's also got the terrazzo pots that she actually has classes that teach how to make. So I think those are super cool. But look at the unique and really nice colors. I love that pastel color. I love the geometric shapes. I think they give a modern twist to a lot of the planters, and I would love to collect Pitas planters. And then you can see right here, we've got another Philodendron jopii. This one is for, I believe, $25. This is a philodendron I do want to purchase because it's such a weird looking philodendron, but one that I wouldn't mind adding to my collection. And then you can see right here, we've got an assortment of Sansevieria, or starfish. That one is a variegated Sansevieria whale fin. I believe this one is a Sansevieria starfish right here. Really nice price for it. It's only $30. And I already know with a lot of these Sansevieria, they will end up pushing out pups. They will end up self-propagating. So if you wait long enough, if you're able to give them those growing conditions, they will do very well for you. And then over here, we've got another Sansevieria of some sort. This one is for $14. And snake plants, or what you call Sansevieria, are low light tolerant, drought tolerant, are marketed as an easy to care for plant. So I would recommend them. And you can see this is another 3D printed vase. I think that's super cute. I love all the pinks. Like, look at this. Love the pinks. Love the colors. Love the fact that these are handmade. And so if people are asking if these planters can be shipped, I would say follow Pitas Planters on Instagram. That way you can send a direct message. They're pretty active on there. And then as you can see, even more planters. I know she got some spooky themed planters, some skull planters, but I believe they've already sold through. And if you're looking for updates of what plants or what products she has for Pitas Planters, definitely follow her on Instagram. Be part of her newsletter so they can send you a plant pricing list of new plants. And obviously subscribe to my YouTube channel with the notification bell on. That's super important. I pretty much frequent this plant nursery or plant shop on a weekly basis, so you will always be up to date on what plants she has. But as I pick up all of these handmade planters, look at the colors. I love the pastel colors. I love the lavender colors. That is just super cute. These are all plants that I feel like if you want that modern vibe, you definitely want to buy these planters. Now, what's interesting is all of the planters she has, except a few, actually have drainage holes. Like these ones don't. I don't think these are actually created by her, but the ones that are made by her, the terrazzo planters, the 3D printed planters, all have drainage holes. So I think that's really nice because not everybody wants to utilize them as a catch pot. And as I pan away here, I'm just going to keep showing you more plants. And here's a beautiful serrated philodendron. This is a philodendron Pluto for $18. And you know, this particular philodendron is actually not one that you would find a lot. I have never seen it at a big box store, and it's not really commonly seen even at local nurseries. So I'm so happy that I could go to Pitas Planters and find, you know, different types of philodendron. You can see this table has some Philodendron and Hoyas. This is one of my favorite philodendron. This is a Philodendron Moonlight. Let me take a look at the price. This is only for $12 in a 5 or 4.5 inch planter. Really love the new leaf that's unfurling. It's got that yellow color about it. Now again, plant foliage, you need to make sure that you're giving it quite a bit of bright light for it to really get that that nice yellow tone. And as I spin around here, we can take a look at this. And I was actually tempted to purchase this because it's a nice full pot of Syngonium, Pictus exotica. Look at that beautiful silver foliage on it. And you know, I am starting to be sold on Syngonium. Like I started to not want to add Syngonium to the collection of mine because I prefer the Epipremnum aureum or the Pothos plant, but I don't know, I love silver foliage as well. And then you can see right here we've got a Sansevieria Abbey crown. That is a unique looking Sansevieria. It almost reminds me of a Sansevieria samurai. Tons of Hoyas right over here. Look at that cuddly cactus. And then we've got a Philodendron giganteum right here. This is just for $20. This is the non-variegated form, but you know, this is actually a philodendron that gets quite large. So be prepared for the size of that potential plant. And then as you can spin around here, this is a plant that caught my eye, but it looked like somebody who actually follows me on Instagram ended up purchasing this plant as I was actually filming this episode today. That is a Dieffenbachia Big Ben variegated, and I love the variegation, and this is so cool. This one is for $145, but it's a very uncommon Dieffenbachia. You know, you don't really see a lot of Dieffenbachia that have that type of variegation. Really nice looking Dieffenbachia, and I just thought it was so interesting that as I was, you know, filming this, as me, Janae, and Steven were filming this, that somebody actually came in and just purchased the plant, and that was it. And I thought that was really cool. Congrats to whoever got the plant, because that is such a beautiful stunner. And that's the thing about Pitas Planters. She has uncommon, rare plants, as well as common, easy care plants. She just has it all for a plant shop that's not quite as large as you would think, but it is definitely a cozy vibe. It's definitely one that I would still pick over a lot of the big box stores that I will go to, definitely. And I would even dub this plant shop as one of the best plant shops in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And trust and believe, if you watch my videos, there are many plant shops all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But Pitas Planters, definitely check it out. I will continue to make plant shopping videos of her plants because I really do believe in this business. I love the people behind it, and I mean, you can't help it. Like, there's just so many cool plants. You can see that those were some of the Syngonium exotica totems, and this is the only one that they have left. This is a Stromanthi Charlie for $26. And I actually was tempted to get another Stromanthe. So here's the thing about Stromanthes. They're not as finicky as a Calathea. They behave like a Calathea in a sense that they need to stay, keep their soil moist. They need higher humidity levels. But as far as a Stromanthe, it's still a very unique looking one. That variegation is really cool. Now, if I were to buy this is definitely going to transfer into semi-hydroponics, which would be pond. I've just realized that growing plants in semi-hydroponics just makes it easy. So I even, to my surprise, have taken a lot of my Aglaonema, which are more drought-tolerant plants, in semi-hydroponics, and they've done very well. So that's what I would recommend on Stromanthes, Calatheas, and prayer plants, to try semi-hydroponics. But as I spin around here, now this is one that I am going to eventually buy from Lupita. This is an Anthurium Queen of Hearts. Let's see how much it costs. There it is. I believe that is for not a bad price. It is a dark foliage Anthurium. That is one that I need to add to my collections. I think dark Anthuriums are beautiful as well. And you can see there is a new leaf that is about to pop up and unfurl. Now, again, with Anthuriums, you need to give it quite a bit of humidity. So if you don't have a humidifier, I would be prepared to actually invest in one. Just make sure that your humidifier is away from your wooden floors, otherwise it could damage it. You want to have your humidifier way up on a shelf if you're going to actually let it just work all day, because I've made the mistake of letting a humidifier actually be closer to the ground, and all of a sudden my wooden floors had like water everywhere, and that's just not good for wood. But that plant that I just picked up is a Philodendron Jose Buono, beautiful plant. And as I spin around here, I'm just gonna keep just showing you all of the plants that they have. I love how all of that this plant shop is illuminated by the natural lighting, and I'm definitely rooting for you. That is definitely a staple at Pitas Planters. And honestly, when I picked up this Philodendron White Princess for $26, I mean, that variegation is the best I've ever seen. I regret actually not purchasing this, and this is the reason why. Because look at that variegation, and even though that white is very risky, like I feel like it was still such a beautiful plant to actually admire. But I actually met somebody who actually watches this channel as well, so that was interesting. But he ended up purchasing that plant, and that's another plant I just kind of regret not purchasing. And then over here we have a beautiful Philodendron Pink Princess Galaxy. I mean, look at that. Look at how beautiful the marbling of that leaf is. There are many different types of Philodendron Pink Princess on the market. This one happens to be the one that has some amazing variegation. So if you're going to look for a Philodendron Pink Princess, go to Pitas Planters. She gets those readily available often, and the variegation is stunning. And I am definitely going to buy this Aglaonema Golden Powder for I believe $14. That is a beautiful Aglaonema, and you already know plant folies. Aglaonemas are a thing for me. I love Aglaonemas. They're so underrated, but they're so easy to take care of. They can tolerate lower light conditions, drought tolerant, and they come in so many different varieties. And this is an Aglaonema that I definitely want to purchase. And when I buy it from Pitas Planters, I am actually going to transfer this into semi-hydroponics leca, and I'm gonna see how that does for my Aglaonema. But this is the golden powder. And what's interesting is as far as like news with me, I will be at the Texas Aroid show, which is literally about a week and a couple of days. It's going to be out in Houston, Texas, October 26th from 11 to 6 p.m. If you are in the Houston area and you want to meet up with me, I will definitely be there. You can find me because I'll be wearing a Girl Folds t-shirt. I will also have those available for purchase. But as far as just Texas Aroid show, definitely buy your tickets. Follow them on Instagram at the Texas Aroid show, and you'll see that I will have lots of footage. The same thing as PlantCon 2024 Dallas and PlantCon 2024 in Houston. Those are two videos that I would suggest watching. It's going to be very similar to that, but I would even say that the Texas Aroid show is going to even have some more unique and rare specimens. I am so looking forward to the vendors that they're going to be there. And definitely check that out. So I will have hours of footage of that. So if you want to see that, definitely be subscribed to my YouTube channel. But if you want to attend that event, definitely purchase your tickets soon. Over here, we have an Aglaonema Silver Bay. This one is also for $14. The classic and most common Aglaonema you will find, aside from the Aglaonema Red Siam. But you can see that all of these plants, she has quite a bit of them. Pitas Planters, I can't stop repeating myself. She has quite a bit of them for the space that she has. I mean, you can see there are many different varieties. So we have an Aglaonema Silver Bay. Now we have an Aglaonema Maria. This one is for $14. And I believe she has an Aglaonema that's pretty white. The Aglaonema Spring Snow or Snow Spring, however you want to call it. These are all for $14 in 4.5-inch planters. And they're really healthy, super exciting. And I just absolutely love that as well. Look at that. Look at that variegation. And that's another one that, I mean, I don't mind have multiples of any type of Aglaonema. If you're going to ask me, I don't mind having multiples of, because they're so easy. So you don't have to like feel like you have to add so much more plant care. You know, for me, I like plants that are low light tolerant and drought tolerant, because not everybody has the best lighting conditions when grown indoors. And if you're like me, I have such a busy work schedule to where sometimes I just don't have the physical the physical strength to go around and water plants. Like this right here is an Alocasia Jacqueline, and I believe this is for $30. It's a beautiful Alocasia. Unfortunately, it's an Alocasia that has made it to plant heaven 3 times for me. It was even an Alocasia I put in pond, and it just did not even make the transfer. So it's really disappointing, because I would love to be able to grow that Alocasia long term. And then you can see right here, this is another Philodendron Pink Princess Galaxy. Beautiful plant. This one is for $30, but look at how gorgeous that pink variegation is. You already know Plant Foldies, I love pink variegated plants, pink plants in general. I'm always collecting them. And you know, if you bought this plant right here and then bought a cute handmade planter by Pita at Pitas Planters, you're all set. And then over here, we've got a variegated Hoya carrii. I love the Hoya carrii. I think it's another unique plant. This one isn't a bad price at all. And, you know, look at how cute that heart-shaped leaf is for a Hoya carrii. And as we move around this table, we're going to be taking a look at some of these Alocasias right here. This one is for $30. This is an Alocasia. Ivory Coast, and I love the Ivory Coast Alocasia. It reminds me of Mickey Mouse ears. Look at all of the new pups that came out of this particular Alocasia. And I actually am not as fearful about growing Alocasia. They are a finicky plant. They need higher humidity levels. They're very much spider mite prone. But if you grow them in semi-hydroponics like pond, they typically do well. Like, I'm super excited. I converted a lot of my Alocasia into semi-hydroponics, and I have not looked back. I think that that's what made it more possible for me to grow plants that are a little bit more challenging when it comes to like the plant care. And that's the thing. As you look at Alocasia, they've got beautiful foliage, for instance, right? That one is an Alocasia Morocco. I just feel like this plant, though, if you're to grow this in soil, you have to really baby it. You have to really pay attention to the amount of water you're giving it. Also stay on top of the pest control. But for me, if you have them in semi-hydroponics, they're always going to be watered. All you have to do is fill the water reservoir, and that is it. And then if you put this, plant in semi-hydroponics in a plant room, for instance, that has a humidifier, you're able to repel a lot of the spider mites, which is really what attacks these Alocasia. And if you give it some really nice bright light with some grow lights, you're good to go. They're going to get to the sizes that you would not even expect. And that's the joy about growing plants. I feel like a lot of times we get discouraged with plants because we're spending so much time trying to keep a plant alive. Now, this right over here is a green Marantha. Let's see how much it is. It is for $14. And notice how there is a paw sticker on it. This means that this plant is actually pet friendly and kid friendly. It's not toxic. So if you're wanting to have plants, but you have a furry friend, you can actually add this to your plant collection, and it will not pose a threat to your furry friend or even, little kids around some of the plants. Because you have to realize some of these plants are toxic and can be irritable and even poisonous. So you just have to make sure that if you're going to have like a furry friend or a a baby, you want to make sure that you have pet-friendly plants. And then over here, we've got a Syngonium white butterfly. This is super thick, and I am back into my Syngonium era again. Love me some Syngoniums. I've been collecting Syngoniums. I am happy about Syngoniums. I am propagating Syngoniums. Super easy, another plant that not a lot of people are just running around to grab. This is a plant that I would recommend for anybody that's beginning a plant journey, because why not? Like Syngoniums are amazing. They're easy to care for, and they're plants that I just would recommend because they're just readily available and they're pretty cost effective, and you can find them at Pitas Planters. And as I pan around here, you can see she just has so many plants. Let's take a look again at the Aglaonema golden powder. Love this as well. And you can see that this particular Aglaonema has hints of orange and red and pink and just a speckling. There's just a lot of things going on with the foliage, and that's what makes Aglaonemas really interesting. And this one is a really cool mermaid cactus. This is a Euphorbia mermaid. Love that as well. And I think about my plant foldie that I met out in PlantCon 2024, Dallas, Trish. I know she would love that. And then look at this variegated Sansevieria again for $55. That is a wish list for me. There's not a lot left. I think these are the last two that I've seen at Pitas Planters. So I'm happy that she's able to sell through a lot of her more, expensive plants that are a little bit more rare. I mean, you can see, look at that variegation. And then you can see that we've got some really nice looking Philodendron Pink Princess again here. That one is for $26. Really pretty good quality variegation. Love the marbling and speckling of this particular Philodendron Pink Princess. Now with Philodendron Pink Princess, you want to make sure that you are giving it quite a bit of light, if possible. Even though it is more so like influenced by the amount of light the variegation is, it's still going to give it more vigorous growth. Anytime you give a plant bright indirect light, it's going to give it the maximum potential for its growth. And then you can see all of these cool looking Euphorbia mermaids. Like, I'm actually tempted to purchase one. And then a variegated Peperomia watermelon. This is the gold dust variegation. Really nice one. I have one from Pitas Planters, and I actually gave it quite a bit of light, and it gave me some really good variegation to the point where almost the leaves are almost white. I love that red stem as well on it. It gives it a nice contrast to the plant. And as I spin around here, we've got some more Hoyas, and we got some more Aglaonema golden powder. And look at this. This one is ready for a repot. The roots are ready, and that is another plant that Aglaonemas, please buy yourself an Aglaonema. If you've been watching my channel for a while and you don't have an Aglaonema, give yourself a chance to bring yourself joy by bringing an Aglaonema to your home. I know if you go to a big box store, for instance, you can get an Aglaonema Silver Bay, or if you want something smaller, you can get an Aglaonema Red Siam. So lots to choose from. I would recommend it. It's easy to care for. And I mean, you can see here another Hoya. This is a Hoya Rosita for $15. I think that this is another plant that is pet friendly. So Hoyas, I believe, and I've learned, are pet friendly. So I think that that is super cool. And then we can see right here, we have another string of, I think, turtles. Yep, string of turtles for $15. Super cute plant. It's a pretty fast growing plant as well. Now this is more of like a succulent type plant, so you need to give it quite a bit of light, and then also keep the soil not too wet. Same thing with this variegated string of hearts. This one is for $15, and it looks really nice. It's a pretty nice starter for anybody who wants a variegated string of hearts. That's one that I would recommend as well. It does very well for me. And you can see we've got Syngonium frosted heart here. We've got Philodendron orange marmalade. I love this one. And let's see, this one is for $35. Not a bad price at all. It's still a pretty pricey Philodendron when you compare it to all the other ones, but that is one that is really unique, especially when it starts to mature. Beautiful plant. Give it lots of light though, lots of bright indirect light. Otherwise you're not gonna get the nice beautiful neon yellow colors. And then grow That's so funny. I just love some of the sayings of this. What a cute little pink planter with an interesting saying on there. And then as I spin around here, look at that unique looking leaf shape of this Anthurium. Like, I am tempted to purchase this one as well. Actually, matter of fact, when I visit Pitas Planters, this was for $38. I'm going to go ahead and buy me another Anthurium. You know, that's the thing about loving a particular plant shop. I'm very partial to Pitas Planters. I'm going to spend all my money here, and I would actually suggest that anybody, especially if you live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, go ahead and do your plant shopping at Pitas Planters. Let's see this business grow. Let's see this place, which we are actually going to call as one of the homes of our new plant podcast, the Cultivation Corner. We're going to do a lot of our initial filming here for our first few episodes. So we want to make sure that this is a centralized area where, you know, if you're a plant foldie, if you're a Grow Folds fan, this is where I would like to meet up with you guys. This is a place where we're going to have plant podcast by the Cultivation Corner. And again, plant foldies, if you haven't already, please make sure you are either on Instagram, following the Cultivation Corner Instagram. That's where we're going to be posting a lot of our content on. But also, if you want the full episodes of the plant podcast, the Cultivation Corner, not only do you need to be subscribed to my YouTube channel with the notification bell on, I can't subscribe, stress that out. Please also subscribe to Janae Simone's YouTube channel, as well as Stephen and I Lift Plants, because all of the episodes will be uploaded differently on different channels. We'll have one long playlist, so definitely do that. And if you made it this far into the video and haven't already, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video. Over here, we've got one that I'm going to buy eventually from Pita, if she still has it. This is a Houseplants camouflage for $18. Beautiful coloration on this plant. I know that Kroger grocery store has this, but I want to support Pitas Planters because her Houseplants camouflage are more cost effective. They're only for $18, and you can see this one is a nice begonia as well. You know, this is an angel wing begonia. It's a begonia that I feel like we should add to our collection. You know, begonias are pretty challenging, but after going to Steve's Leaves and actually doing a nursery tour and looking at all of the begonias at Steve's Leaves, I may enter the begonia phase as well. That's the thing about seeing plants thriving, seeing mature plants. It just influences you to try and grow a plant yourself. And I think that's the reason why a lot of us get plant fluence or influenced to buy plants, is because we see beautiful specimens and then we end up wanting to buy the plant because we want to see if we can grow it to that beauty. I still regret not buying that Philodendron White Prince. It's such beautiful variegation. And then this one is in Aglaonema, red cyan, for $14. I would recommend this Aglaonema. I mean, look at that pink reddish veining on the leaves, the border of the leaves. Easy to care for plant. And then we also have a classic Monstera adansonii. Beautiful plant. This is a plant that does want to climb. I know some people will grow this as a trailing plant, but really to get the beautiful fenestrations of this particular Monstera adansonii, you want to give it a moss pole, a plank, a stake for it to climb up. And yes, as you can see right over here, Pitas Planters is also a plant shop that is ever evolving, because you can see that she does sell through quite a bit of plants. So these arrangements of plants are never the same whenever I go to Pitas Planters. You can see that she has a bunch of the pink plants right over here. We've got some different variegated plants, and I will say she has quite a bit of philodendron as well, and even begonias. And then when you turn around here, look at this, more plants.
We were laughing through the pain, you were never once sober. Cut the cord that kept us connected, blacking out the mirror where your light once reflected all of the love from up above.
And you can see she has some handmade propagation stations. Love that. It looks like she chopped up a Syngonium albo. Really like that as well. And you know, that's an easy plant to root in water. I love the propagation stations, and you can see that Steven has just made it here, and the audio cut out, but he's talking about this Alocasia Jacqueline. We were discussing on whether we should have him buy it. I didn't really want to be the bearer of bad news, but I did end up telling him that I ended up sending it to Plant Heaven multiple times. So He was still keen to buying it, but then I think he eventually bought something else. I forgot what plant he got, but you know, whenever the Cultivation Corner trio comes here, Janae, myself, or Steven, we have to buy plants from Pitas Planters. And again, I will never stop trying to plug this plant shop because I mean, look at this. So many plants, so many different types of plants at a smaller space, but that makes it more unique because you don't have to travel too far around. Like, all you have to do is turn around and be like, okay, there's a Dieffenbachia camouflage, beautiful. We've got some Alocasia cuprea, beautiful. We've got a beautiful Philodendron gloriosum. And we have shingle plants. Like, this is really cool too. These are brand new right here. This is another Rhaphidophora shingle type plant for $22, and it already has the plank. Super cute. I don't have any shingle plants in my collection. And then look, right over here, we've got an easy to care for plant. This is a not a philodendron, sorry. Peperomia obtusifolia variegata. This one is only for $13.50. This is the marble version, and that's another plant I am going to add to my collection just because this is one of the more durable plants, one of the easier plants to grow. And I mean, look at that variegation, absolutely stunning. And this is another plant that you can propagate through cuttings, easy to propagate, it's easy to grow, it's one that will give you a lot of joy. And then we have a Rhaphidophora discordia for $16.50. And as much as I love this dragon tail Rhaphidophora, it's one that you have to give it a pull. You have to give it quite a bit of light for it to really grow. Otherwise, it will shoot out more runners versus foliage. But if you can get it to mature, if you're able to give it more light, it is a plant that is going to be stunning, just absolutely stunning. It'll be a statement piece plant. And then this is an Alocasia I'm thinking I want to buy from Lupita. This one is for $30. That is an Alocasia golden bone. I love that dark foliage of the plant, and also just the stem color. That's one that, you know, I'm not as afraid to add into my collection anymore because I've kind of figured out the substrate that an Alocasia would be most happy about. And you can see that there are little pups. This was actually for $32, and you can see that it already has like 3 or 4 babies. But look at the size of that Alocasia golden bone, absolutely stunning. That is one that, you know, if you are into Alocasias, get yourself an Alocasia golden bone. I know I have a plant foldy by the name of Daniel who loves growing Alocasia. Daniel, if you're watching this, you can see that Pita has some Alocasia. Definitely come by here and buy them. And I think that that's what's so fun about this community. I've been able to meet up with you guys in person. Love that. And, you know, for those that ask why I stay faceless on YouTube, I think it's really just preference. You know, I have a lot of things going on outside of my YouTube channel that I just want to keep you know, separate from my plants. And also, I just wanted to be all about the plants versus me as a person. It is nice to get to know y'all, but for now, I am going to stay faceless. It's the same thing at the Cultivation Corner. I might actually do a face reveal at the Cultivation Corner podcast. We'll see what that looks like. But for now, that is the reason why I stay faceless. But you can see she's got hanging baskets right over here of, I think, a string of pearls, beautiful plant. And then we've got some Hoya Chelsea hanging baskets. I actually didn't realize that that's another Hoya that I don't really see a lot of hanging baskets of. So it's nice that, you know, Pita is able to source these out and have these available for the Dallas-Fort Worth plant community. And for those that are visiting the Dallas area, this is a place, if you love plants, definitely visit Pitas Planters. I feel like it's worth the trip. I feel like the plants are cost effective. I feel like a lot of the plants are unique. You get many different varieties for a space that doesn't have the biggest square footage, but still enough to where every single inch of this place has a large impact. But as you can see here, I'm just going to keep panning around and showing you all of these plants. there's such a great energy as well around Pitas Planters. And, you know, both myself, Janae, Simone, and Steven were just talking about how you can tell that there's a lot of love and passion put into taking care of these plants to get these plants sourced out. You know, whenever you buy a plant from Pitas Planters, you're getting one that was definitely sourced out with love. Also, she is able to give you all of the plant care tips. So there's nobody should ever feel intimidated to growing and picking up a plant. You're always going to be steered in the right direction by Pita. This shop really does make an effort to make sure to answer all of your plant questions. And, you know, for us, we also like seeing that there is a variety of plants that are a little bit more rare. I mean, you can see right here, this is a more uncommon Hoya. This is one that I was actually tempted to purchase as well, but she has a cabinet of some of her own plant propagations or rare plants that she has been able to source out. I mean, look at this right here. That is a really nice looking Jose Buono, Philodendron Jose Buono, but it has more of a speckling. I haven't ever seen that. Really nice looking one. And then here is a Philodendron Strawberry Shake, really good variegation. Let's see how much it is. That's not a bad price at all for an uncommon Philodendron. Love the stems of the leaves as well. And you can just see that as far as getting even rare plants, you don't have to travel far. You don't have to go order them online. You can just get them. And especially with the Anthuriums, it's always a risk to buy an Anthurium online just because they don't always travel well. So that's why, like, if I'm going to buy some Anthuriums, I'm definitely going to buy them from Pitas Planters. There are some other local sellers like Caleb's Tropicals, which I am excited because he did give me the option to film film his Anthuriums. He is a master when it comes to Anthurium hybridizing, so stay tuned for that. There's a lot of new content that I'm going to try to get out aside from big box store plant shopping. I know that I typically do that, but just now that I'm meeting more people, making more connections, I'm really honored. I'm really thankful for all of the positive reviews that I'm getting and just the positive opportunities I'm getting to be able to share even more plant content. Now, can we take a look at this beautiful Philodendron Splendid? Look at how full this plant is. Look at how gorgeous the velvety texture of the leaves are. That's another one that I'm like, should have I bought it? So is it a need or a want? Now, it's in terms of that term for Cultivation Corner, a need is basically a plant you have to have right then and there. That is something that's non-negotiable. You have to buy the plant. Or is it a want? Is it something that's on your wish list that you can wait on? I think that that's going to be more of a want for now, even though it is a spectacular looking plant. And as you can see here, plant folies, look at all of these plants. So many varieties, and I'm just going to keep walking around here and panning over some more of these plants for you. And here is an example again of a Syndapsis exotica on a totem. I feel like you get the best beauty potential out of that particular Syndapsis or Syndapsis in general when you let them crawl up versus trail down. And just the lighting plant folies and the plants like this Anthurium Queen of Spades, like I need to buy that. I think that that's the Anthurium I'm going to purchase when I am at Pitas Planters next time. Oh gosh, there's just so many beautiful plants. And again, I will continue to do plant shopping videos of Pitas Planters because she does restock quite often. Please make sure you are following Pitas Planters on Instagram. That's where you'll get the most up-to-date content. She does post a lot of reels, Instagram reels, as well as stories. This is another Syngonium I think that is really cool. This is a Syngonium Golden Illusion for $14. Now, I think that there's another Syngonium that I have that was sold to me as Syngonium Lime Soda. They look very similar, but that is a Syngonium, though. If you're going to get the best variegation or coloration, please give it quite a bit of bright indirect light. So plant folies, what do you think so far of all the plants at Pitas Planters? Again, if you haven't hit the like button, please make sure you're hitting the like button for this video. I would also ask that you leave comments about what plants you would love Pitas Planters to add into her plant shop. I can, give that feedback to her, as I often see Pita and her partner David. So that's, something that I would definitely want to get to them. And then you can just see right here, give all the plant insights, leave all the comments in the comment section. I would love to see that. Again, it's all about the engagement on this channel. I do thank those that continue to tune into my live premiere chats. I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent, but again, life gets in the way, work gets in the way, but just know that I make all my efforts to try to get you that daily plant content. It has been fun, and you can see that on the shelf right there. These are the plants that I am wanting to purchase today alongside with Steven. We already got some of our plants queued up. If you like this video, definitely hit the like button for this video. It definitely helps the channel out, as well as Pitas Planters, as well as subscribing to this YouTube channel at Grow Folds with the notification bell on. This is Richie. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's out in North McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video. It definitely helps with the engagement of this channel, as well as following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. That is the fastest way to get in touch with me directly if you want to interact with me outside of my YouTube videos. And also, if you like 1 hour plant shopping videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel with the notification bell on. That way you are always up to date with all of my posts and my live premieres. So plant foldies, as you can see, it is a beautiful morning out in North McKinney, Texas, and you can see right here I am at this Lowe's, and Lowe's has several Croton Petras ready to go for the season. I went ahead and walked in, and you can see that this Lowe's has the little fixture that has like all of the trending tropical plants by Costa Farms. You can see that this one right here is for $15.98. This is an Alocasia poly, beautiful Alocasia, but it's one of those Alocasias that's really tough to grow because they're a little bit more spider mite prone than the typical Alocasia. And then over here we've got a Philodendron Pink Princess. This is another trending tropicals by Costa Farms. This is for $19.84. It isn't a self-watering planter. It does have some pretty nice speckling on the leaves, but it isn't that same type of Philodendron Pink Princess, the one that you could see that has the high variegation. That one is called the Philodendron Pink Princess Marble or Galaxy Marble. I happen to find one at Pitas Planters, which is a local nursery shop out in Dallas, Texas. One of my favorite shops to actually shop at. But as you can see right here, we are at a big box store, and at a big box store, you'll see all of the Costa Farms plants. This one right here is a Xanthosoma, beautiful Xanthosoma right here, as well as this beautiful Calathea. Now, I don't know the particular ID for this particular Calathea. What I do know about this Calathea is it is a heartbreaker in a sense that Calatheas look beautiful when they are at a store, big box store, or even a local plant shop, but if you don't provide them the care tips that they require or the environment that they need, they will quickly decline and go to plant heaven. Now, this is another Pink Princess right here, Philodendron Pink Princess for $19.84. And then here is a classic Aglaonema Red Siam. I'm actually in the market to buy another Aglaonema Red Siam. Beautiful plant. It's another plant that a lot of people will come find as a common plant. It's a basic plant to some people, but for me, it is a plant that will bring me joy. It's one of those plants that I can't really ignore because I love Aglaonema so much, and that one is very readily available to find at any big box store. And then you can see right here, we've got an Alocasia Silver Dragon. So as you can see, it feels like it's already Christmas. It feels like it's already December. So we've got, all of the Christmas ornaments, the Christmas trees alongside with the pumpkin. So it looks like it's transitioning from like Halloween to Thanksgiving to the Christmas holiday season. They do have some really nice large fixtures. You can see right over here they've got all of the Halloween festivities going on here, and the crazy thing is it hasn't even reached till the first week of October yet, and we have all of these decorations ready to go at a big box store like Lowe's. But as you can see right here, we are going to walk to see if we have any interesting plant finds today at Lowe's. I sometimes will find some really cool trending tropical plants by Costa Farms. Sometimes Urban Jungles will release out a new planter or live trend. So we're going to see what we can find today. I'm just going to pan around here and show you what they have so far.
And it's the fall season when you're seeing a bunch of crotons just all over these big box stores and local nurseries. I do love crotons. Now, for those that follow my channel, you already know I talk about crotons. So hopefully you don't get tired of them, because I really have this agenda of trying to get everybody interested in crotons, because I do think that they are beautiful plants. The only thing about croton plants are they do need a lot of light, and they do better when they are grown outdoors. Now, if you're going to grow them indoors, make sure that you are providing them with consistent watering, also a grow light if you can't provide them the best lighting conditions, and some added humidity if you're able to. Crotons really like that tropical environment. I mean, you can see right over here we have a bunch of croton petras. So what I've noticed about this particular Lowe's location, and why I continue to come back to this one, is they actually have some really good organization of their plants. I love the presentation of their plants and even the merchandising. So if you notice right here, they have a bunch of croton petras. At least these croton petras are actually taking up the space to make this area look a little bit more full. I always say if an area looks full and impactful, that is going to inspire me to purchase more plants. That may not necessarily be a good thing, plant foldies, as you know, I have been adding so many plants left and right. I recently went to a Dallas plant swap out at North Haven Gardens, which I will do showcase in a video this week, but I've spent quite a bit of money. I don't really regret it, because at the end of the day, if you find plants that are going to bring you joy, as I say in all my videos, go ahead and buy the plant. You only live once, and you never know, you may not end up finding that plant again. So find that plant that brings you joy. Like this particular plant right here, this neon pothos, brings me joy. I love all of these urban jungle ceramic hanging baskets. This one right here is a marble queen pothos. And with marble queen pothos, again, if you really want that white variegation, that really nice variegation, you're going to have to provide it with quite a bit of bright indirect light for it to really get that best variegation. It's the same thing with the neon pothos. Neon plants have to have light. If you don't give them that light, they're not going to do as well, and they're not going to be as neon. And it's the same thing with this neon pothos. More bright indirect light, it's going to give you better variegation. You're going to get more of like a snow queen pothos. And you can see right here, we just have a regular jade pothos, but don't sleep on the jade pothos. I love that really nice green tone. And if you notice, the leaves are super shiny as well. It's got that natural shine about it. And with pothos plants, I think that everybody should grow pothos plants. They're so easy. They're easy to propagate. And if you let them trail and actually put them on like a bookshelf or somewhere where they can hang, they really make stunning plants. They make good centerpieces as well. They make good trailing plants. Now, if you want them to have larger leaves, let them grow the way they naturally grow in the wild, which is to climb up a tree or a moss pole, a totem pole, some type of plank, and you will get some really large leaves. But as you can see right here, this particular Lowe's, I want to highlight the fact that they have some really good branding and merchandising. Look at that organization. For instance, you can see right here, they've taken all of these Costa Farm exotic angel plants and they've separated all of them into like specific trays. So like one tray may have a bunch of croton mames, for instance. This one is for $5.98. And I actually asked this question, plant foldies, if you've ever gone to a big box store and you picked up like a plant, like a Costa Farms exotic angel starter plant like this, and were just tempted to purchase all of them. I've caught myself trying to do that, but then I stopped myself from doing it just because, I don't know, I just feel like you know, it's easy to impulse buy plants. Like for instance, right here, Dracaena Florida Beauty. This is a beautiful plant that I could impulse buy because I find it beautiful. I already have one of those plants, and as far as like plants that I would have duplicates of, this would definitely be a plant that I would add. Same thing with this Croton Gold Dust for $5.98. Notice how they both have the speckling on the leaves. It looks like somebody either splattered yellow or white paint on these leaves. They have similar like shape and structure, so I find that interesting. And I love the fact, again, Plantfolies, that they have a bunch of these Gold Dust Crotons separated into just a single tray. I think that makes the organization better and just a better presentation overall. I have to give Costa Farms, you know, the credit that they do deserve in terms of just having different types of exotic tropical plants available for us in a mainstream market, like a big box store. Like you can see right over here, we have some type of Aralia here, and they've organized these as well to just one single tray, $5.98. And what I like about this Aralia is when you look at the nuance of it, you can see the petioles have like a striping texture about it, or just a pattern. And I love the serrated leaves as well. Now these particular plants, any type of false Aralias will get really large as well, and they'll get really caney wood-like structures for their trunks. That will take some time, but they can get large like that. And then you can see right here, these are some hanging baskets of Belgian waffle plant. We'll take a look at that after we take a look at this Hoya carnosa right here. This is in a 6-inch planter for $16.98. Love that. And then I also love the 6-inch hanging baskets by Costa Farms. Now here is a really sad looking Belgian waffle plant, and I say sad just because it looks like it's gotten really leggy. It looks like it hasn't gotten a lot of water, so it's not in the best condition. Usually when I look for plants like this, I would like for the hanging basket to be a little bit more full. It looks like this plant may just have not gotten enough water. Now this is a nice example of a Phytonia that's really nice and full. I really like the red veining on the leaves. Phytonias are super thirsty plants, and I've just realized that all of the plants that are super thirsty for me will not do well in my care because I, number one, have very limited time. And as you can see, Plantfolies, I haven't really been on the live premiere chats as much because I have been taking some time for myself. I have been editing videos, but at the same time, there's just a little bit of a space where I want to make sure that I have my personal time. Although I love doing plant shopping videos, I mean, how can you not love looking at Begonia Red Kiss, for instance? There has to be a point now where I can kind of separate a little bit, maybe wean back on maybe doing daily plant shopping videos. We'll see what that looks like. I may just end up doing compilation videos just so I can get some content out there. That way I can continue to have this platform for where if you do look forward to like chatting at night, I'll have that available. So for those that have tuned into my longer like compilation videos, you know, like the 2.5 hour, 3 hour compilation videos, really appreciate the viewership. I just want to make sure that I stay consistent for our viewers and subscribers, just because I don't know, like I feel like you guys do look forward to having these live premiere chats as well as just having live content. I remember when I used to binge a bunch of like certain content like YouTube channels where I would look for a specific schedule and look forward to it daily. I just don't really want to disappoint our Plantfolies because you guys have given me so much joy in creating this content, and have no fear, I will continue to make that content. I've actually got quite a bit of videos pre-filmed. I just have to have time to edit them. But anyways, going back to the Plantfolies, you can see that I picked up some Maranthas. One of them was actually a variegated Marantha, which I thought was really cool. And you see that like hanging skeleton? That's kind of funny right there. And Syngonium white butterfly. So these 6-inch hanging baskets have some really good specimens of Syngoniums. And what I've noticed with Costa Farms is they'll release a certain batch of plants. So right now they've got a bunch of Syngoniums that I see floating around. And we'll talk about some of the other Costa Farm plants that I've seen floating around that's just been recently released. I definitely feel like I should add another Syngonium to my collection. So I have some more Syngoniums I've added to my collection, and Plantfolies. I am getting really excited. I know that I've been teasing you all for quite some time, since like last winter, about doing a houseplant tour. I've gotten so much of my plants organized and ready to go. Now I just need to clean my house so that way I can get some really good shots of some of my plants. So have no fear, my houseplant collection tour is happening. It's happening very soon. And for those that actually follow me, I do have some more exciting news I wanted to talk about while I show you some of these plants. Number one, I have been influenced or been actually invited to be an official plant influencer for the Texas Aroid Show, which will be happening on October 26th. Super excited because I'll be able to go there for the vendor setup as well on October 25th. So I will be filming all of the vendor setups, just maybe even interviewing some of the vendors. So I will have a video up and ready to go, hopefully before the day of Texas Aroid Show. And again, I did want to thank the Texas Aroid community for just really reaching out to me and asking me if I would be interested in that. I also appreciate the accommodations that they're sending me. So I will have lots of footage, just like PlantCon 2024. And then some other news. We are also going to be launching a podcast, a plant show called The Cultivation Corner, which will have Janae Simone, Stephen from I Live Plants, and myself as a trio. We will start recording our show / podcast at Pitas Planters. We found a little bit of a home there at Pitas Planters. Super excited. We're going to start doing those initial podcast shows, or just our Cultivation Corner show. So stay tuned for that. That'll be later October. And then I'm also slated to go to PlantCon 2025 in Orlando, Florida. There's going to be one in Houston later that year, but since they added a PlantCon 2025 in Orlando, super excited. I just need to get the specific dates, and you already know you'll get hours and hours of footage of PlantCon videos. And I do think that you guys appreciate that. I love really featuring plant conventions, plant shows, because not all of us can go to one. And I at least want to be able to take all of the plant foldies and have you guys live vicariously through the lens of my iPhone. So that will be in the works. But anyway, so that's all the exciting news I have for you guys. What's also exciting is the fact that this particular Lowe's, for instance, have you noticed that they have such good organization and merchandising? Like, I love the fact that they have this Moon Valley Pilea next to all of the Moon Valley Pileas. They had a bunch of purple waffle plants. They have another snow white waffle plant right here. And can I tell you how beautiful this plant is? Now, I have ended up getting this again. I've sent one or two, actually two of these to Plant Heaven. I'm on my third one, and what I notice is if I just water this plant like almost every other day and keep my humidifier in my plant room running at 60 to 70% humidity, it will just grow like a champ. And I love this plant. That is a plant I have to keep trying to grow, because if you look at all of that pink variegation, it's just stunning. Now, here's an interesting thing too. I am starting to get into Dieffenbachia. So you can see this one right here is a Dieffenbachia Camille. I recently bought an amazing Dieffenbachia for a very good cost-effective price. $39, and it's like 4 feet tall, that I bought at a local nursery called Callaway's Nursery. So I will be adding more Dieffenbachias to my collection. There's quite a bit of plants that I've been adding, and I just talked about how some people are downsizing their plants. For me, I'm not necessarily downsizing or just like adding plants just to add plants. I do have the space for the plants. I do have the energy, the time, and the routines to be able to take care of the plants. And that's the thing I would tell plant foldies. Yes, buy the plant, especially this one right here. I'm almost tempted to buy this Rex begonia, but we already know Rex begonias are a little bit more challenging to grow. But just know that if you're going to buy the plant, you have to be intentional with where you're going to place the plant, what type of environment you're going to place the plant in. Are you truly going to be able to invest the time to care for the plant? Because it's one thing to go plant shopping, and it's very easy to go plant shopping. I mean, all we have to do is either bring our cash or run that credit card, and all of a sudden you have 100 plants. But what do we do with the 100 plants? And that's part of the reason why I like to do big box store plant shopping videos or just longer content, because I feel like I can just talk to you as if this was a podcast. And it's really interesting because a lot of you guys will actually leave in the comments or send me a direct message on Instagram about how you'll just turn on my videos and listen to me talk while you do your plant chores or when you start your day off. Hopefully this content does bring you guys joy. Hopefully my rambling, I guess, if you want to call it, does bring you a good mood and just really starts the day off right for you, because I actually love ending my days being on the live premiere chats or creating this content for you. I cannot tell you how much that just really excites me, and just to be able to see plants on a daily basis. Like, I literally am in a big box or a local nursery for hours and hours of end, and I never get tired of it. So I hope you guys don't get tired of me picking up plants, showing you the same plants that you probably saw yesterday, the day before yesterday, last week, last month, because there are just so many plants that you can actually see here, and it's just amazing. And here is an example of some plants that Costa Farms has recently released. It looks like they just got a bunch of Geonanthus plants released into the market. And, whenever I started binge watching the YouTube channel Costa Farms, and how literally it'll take about 2 to 3 years for them to grow a specific plant, so that way they can have the numbers to release to like a lot of the big box stores. It looks like these Geo plants were probably in production for quite a bit of time. That way they're able to release them. And I've noticed that Costa Farms, even though we do see Aglaonema red Siams pretty much all year, I've noticed that there is a bigger restock of Aglaonema red Siam. Now this one is for $15.97, again in a self-watering planter. I want to buy another Aglaonema red Siam just because I feel like, number one, it's an easy to care for plant. Number two, I don't mind actually having multiples of Aglaonema red Siam, or just Aglaonemas in general. Since they are an easy to care for plant, that's just a plant I don't mind purchasing again and again. Same thing with Epipremnum aureum or Pothos plants. So you can see right here, this is an Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue Pothos. Love that. And then you can see here we have some Philodendron pink princess, and there is a discussion about what kind of varieties of Philodendron pink princess you'll find. Like, you can find this one right here. This one doesn't have the deep red burgundy colored leaves as a Philodendron pink princess. That one has more green. And can we talk about this Trending Tropicals Costa Farms Aglaonema pink Siam? Love this plant, and I'm so glad that Costa Farms was able to get this plant more readily available for the general public, because I remember seeing this Aglaonema be really uncommon about 4 to 5 years ago, where you would have to import this plant and it would just cost a lot of money. Now it's only for $19.84, which I don't think is a bad price for an Aglaonema. And when you put that Aglaonema pink Siam right next to the Aglaonema red Siam, notice how similar they are. It just so happens that the pink Siam has more pink, obviously, and the red Siam has more red. Either way, both of plants are gorgeous. Both plants are very easy. Both plants are also very underrated. So you already know, plant foldies, if you do not have an Aglaonema in your plant collection, can you go ahead, go to a big box store, go to a local nursery and try growing an Aglaonema? I would tell you, you would not regret it, because they're so easy to take care of and they're very beautiful. Now, I did want to talk about urban jungle. Love urban jungle plants. I am excited that I am seeing some new urban jungle planters. Take a look at this one. This is for $22.98. This is in a 6-inch terracotta planter. This one is another Calathea. This is a Calathea rospicta. You already know, plant foldies, I bought one for $18.88 at Home Depot, which is 3 times the size of that one. I thought it was a really good value. And then you can see right here, Homolemena Shelby. And so they have the Homolemena camouflage that's also available and out in the market. But the Homolemena Shelby, this one's for $22.98. Beautiful plant as well. And look at the terracotta. I love terracotta planters. I kind of wish that Urban Jungle didn't have that white striping pattern on it. I kind of wish that it was just a plain terracotta shaped planter. I would totally be down for that. But you can see right here, we have another Calathea lancifolia. And I love the look of a Calathea lancifolia. I think that the narrow leaves, just the pattern on the leaves, looks so cool. But it is a heartbreaker. All Calatheas are heartbreakers. I don't care what you say. Calatheas are very challenging to grow long term. I am still doing well with the 3 large Calatheas I have in 10-inch planters. We will see if they will last a long time for me. I do water them every 3 days in the shower, so I get the leaves wet, and then I spray them with neem oil, and they've been doing pretty well for me so far. And then over here we have some Ficus ginseng bonsai, and you can see that they have a little bit of that moss, that fake moss that I really am not a fan of. But this one is also not a bad price for $32.98. because it's already ready to go as far as being a plant display. And then we have a Syndapsis, Trubii Moonlight. Love Syndapsis. That is another plant that I've seen a lot of variegation or different types of variegated Syndapsis. They are quite pricey though, but that would be another plant that I would like to add to my collection more so. And then Dieffenbachia, so this one is in a 6-inch planter for $12.98. Now Dieffenbachias are plants I do plan on adding more as I continue to get my space organized, as I create more shelves to hang them in and just to have more organization. I don't want to add a lot of plants, even though I could potentially do that without having that organization. And you can see right here, plant foldies, we do have some live trends planters. I love that as well. And then you can see right over here, plant foldies. As I pan around, we can see that we have this Philodendron Hederaceum, just a green version. And that's actually a plant that I want to add to my collection because it does look really pretty as a trailing hanging plant. So I went to this one coffee house to meet up with Janae Simone and Steven so we could talk about our podcast cultivation corner called Wayward Coffee, and it had the most beautiful Pothos and Philodendron Hederaceum plants, and they were just what you would consider basic plants, but they were very lush, they were very full, they were trailing, they were like trailing 6 to 7 feet down, and they were just stunning. And that's the thing about plants. I know a lot of you plant foldies have really supported my video where I featured my grandmother and showed you guys some of my grandmother's plants. I will say my grandmother doesn't have the most rare plants, nor does she have any plants that you would be screaming to look for at like a plant convention. But what she does have is she has easy to care for plants that are super healthy and lush, plants with lots of size, and plants that are that have been propagated to be very abundant. And to me, having a plant collection where you can just grow an easy to care for plant, multiply it, propagate it, make sure that it's healthy, make sure that they get sizes that are really large, I think that's really rewarding. And to go back to the whole coffee house called Wayward Cafe or Coffee, they just had really cool looking plants, even though they were just a basic Pothos plant. So again, plant foldies. As we look at this Syngonium Maria, for instance, love that dark chocolate foliage on it. Just know that these inexpensive, easy to care for plants that you can find at a big box store like Lowe's, don't sleep on them. I would collect as many of them as possible. Like all of this Epipremnum Aureum Lemon Meringue Pothos, get yourself 2 or 3. You'll be happy with that. Or even this bird's nest fern, and I do love that it's in a neon, like it's a neon variety. Love those neon colored plants. This one is by Live Trends for $14.98. I do like Live Trends planters. I would say Live Trends plants in general, the planters are just superior in terms of just being a very modern contemporary vibe. Although I would say even with the new urban jungle planters like this one, look at that Ficus Audrey right here. And right next to that terracotta. So they're really leaning into more like classic planters. Terracotta plants and, you know, planters in general, I think will always be a classic. I could even just buy a regular terracotta planter and just put all of my plants in that and would be extremely happy. I find them stylish as well. Like, you know, with urban jungle, for instance, this Ficus elastica burgundy, while I do love the plant, I'm not really a fan of the texture or the pattern of the planter. I feel like it would have to be a very specific like type of like furniture that you would have for them to really be something that would match your interior. Same thing with this fern. While I do like this fern, although this fern is going to be tough to grow long term, it needs to be kept in a more humid environment. I don't despise urban jungle planters. They're just not necessarily the first planters I would run to. If I had to choose between urban jungle and live trends would win slightly just because they fit my plant aesthetics. And this is so funny, they have this like skeleton that's about to fall over. Yep, he fell over. Another casualty on that staghorn fern by Costa Farms. That one's for $20.98, an 8-inch hanging basket. Let me try to hang this skeleton back. And as you can see right here, I can't hang him back, so he's just gonna chill with the rest of the plants here. It is Halloween, and can you believe that we're still not in October yet. Today is September 30th when I premiere this video. So they've got all of the Halloween costumes, but can we just talk about how many big box stores already have Christmas trees, have pretty much bypassed Thanksgiving holiday. I just can't believe that the holiday season is about to just be in full force. So which that means we all have more excuses to go, treat ourselves, to buy ourselves holiday presents. If you guys want to give me any plants, that would be awesome as a holiday present. More so, if you want to support the channel, number one, please make sure you hit the like button for this video if you made it this far already. And then number two, you will see that little super thanks dollar sign that you can hit on any of my videos. If you want to send a monetary tip as kind of like a patron, that would also be amazing. It would definitely help fund some of my gas money that I spend driving all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as well as just some of the plants I end up buying. Like, I swear I would have bought this neon pothos, for instance, because Costa Farms is releasing a bunch of hanging baskets of neon pothos as of late, at least in the North Dallas area. But the funds, you just have to really be mindful about the funds. But gosh, like, how can you not want to buy this neon pothos? Leave in the comments plant foldies if you love neon pothos plants or just pothos plants in general. And that comes to another point of mine. When I go to the Texas Aroid Show, they have some amazing plant vendors there. I am so excited to go see May, who sells a bunch of Japanese pothos. Just know I will be buying some Japanese pothos from her because I missed out at PlantCon. I will not allow myself to do that again. Even though they were a slightly pricey, I don't mind buying those pothos because the amount of energy, effort, and just the curation, just them being so curated as far as plants, it's definitely worth, spending just a little bit more money for that. But if you want to buy plants that are easy to care for, you can settle for a Ficus elastica burgundy right here, $13.98, urban jungle. I wouldn't say it's the easiest plant to take care of. It's more of an intermediate level, but it's still an easy to care for plant, or at least I feel like it's not as hard as like a hydra, helix, or an English ivy, a calathea for sure. Now, you can see that they have some bonsai right here, and I'm just going to keep panning over and showing you different types of plants. Here is a Hydra Helix or a Hedera Helix King's Choice. Now, this is for $20.98. Look at the leaves. They look so cool. They're very miniature and very pointy and very tempted to buy. You already know plant foldies, my journey with Hedera Helix. 14 have made it to plant heaven. I actually currently have 3 now in my collection. Again, they're living okay. I have one literally sitting next to a humidifier, but I wouldn't mind getting that hanging basket of King's Choice Ivy. What a beautiful plant. With English ivies though, if you really want to just try to grow them outdoors in a shaded patio, and they will do well for you. If you have more humidity, like if you have humidity kind of like Houston or Florida, they will really grow rampant. Now, you don't want to grow English ivy in the ground because they are an invasive plant. You don't want them to really be crawling on any wood surfaces around your home because they could create damage. And that's the thing. Some people will say that, English ivy walls are beautiful. They are, but if you let them grow on your walls of your house, it could actually do some damage. So you just have to really be mindful about some more of the invasive species. But not needless to say, I love me some English ivy. And then you can see right here, we have some bromeliads. This one's for $20.48 by Costa Farms. Love the look at bromeliads as well. I think it's another plant that I feel like is underrated. I already know when I first started, doing plant shopping videos, I never really paid attention to them. I found them a really basic plant, and I always asked the question, why bromeliads? And then as I look closer into bromeliads, they really have some nice characteristics. I love the colors. I love the different types of shapes and textures that they have, and there's just many different varieties. So that's the thing about, growing plants in your collection. You're always constantly being exposed to different plants. I mean, you can see right here, this is another Hydra Helix. Now, I don't know what the particular English ivy this is because it just got put into an urban jungle planter. I believe that the original English ivy was actually from Costa Farms. Not sure, but it is a beautiful plant, and you see how it's got that ruffling texture on it and some variegation. What a beautiful plant as well. And then we also have another bird's nest fern right here. Love that neon color plant. I'm surprised I don't have a bird's nest fern in my plant collection, because when I was in the Philippines on vacation back in August, I saw some bird's nest ferns that were literally about 4 to 5 feet in diameter. They were super massive. But as I pan away here, this Lowe's, I have to just hands down say they kept their area organized, clean. They have some fairly healthy plants for a big box store, and it's just exciting to see that they have taken a lot of care into it. I would say back in the winter time last year, this wasn't the best Lowe's to shop at because a lot of their plants were neglected. So I'm glad that they were able to turn that around and see that, you know, there's just a lot of plants that we can take a look at. But as you can see here, croton petras are available, and just many plants. Leave in the comments again, plant foldies, what plants you would buy at Lowe's, at this particular Lowe's, what plants you're actually adding to your collection. I've seen you guys send me direct messages on Instagram about some of the plants I've influenced y'all, so definitely want to hear from you. And then the second part of this video will be big box or plant shopping video at Walmart out in North McKinney, Texas. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. If you made it this far and haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. That is the biggest way you can support me. If you're listening to me, if you're watching me and you have not hit the like button, but you're maybe a silent viewer, somebody that doesn't necessarily chat, at least hit the like button, because that really validates that all of my efforts are justified, and that I should continue to create this content for y'all. But I did want to visit Walmart early. This was actually filmed on a Saturday morning. I just wanted to see what Walmart has, and I did hear that Walmart has pretty much loaded up with a bunch of the holiday stuff. So they have a lot of their Christmas trees, they have all their holiday decorations. It's just interesting how big box stores move very quickly with the holidays. And you can see right here as I pan around, they have some plants, some house plants. I wouldn't say they have a lot. They definitely have a bunch of chrysanthemums or mums. Now this is probably, alongside with the croton plant, the fall seasonal plant that you will see often. You can see right here, this is a garden mum, and what I love about mums is you can actually plant these mums into a flower bed and they will bloom for you in the fall, die off in the winter, and come back year after year. Now, if you're going to grow them in a container, you can actually pinch back the dead blooms and then let water it again, just take care of it, and it should rebloom again. These are all for $17.97. And what I love about chrysanthemums too is they have their like bushy mounding effect. So you've got a nice little shape that comes with chrysanthemums or mums. Same thing with all of these croton petras. These ones are for $16.97. I would say that's probably the most inexpensive crotons I've seen at a big box store, a grocery store, or a local nursery. And then I wanted to show you some of the Better Homes and Gardens planters by Walmart. These are actually pretty inexpensive planters considering how modern they look. Like, this is something I would use for my Philodendron gloriosum, since it is a philodendron that likes to crawl, and so there's a little bit more soil surface for it to crawl. I have that cylinder planter there that's beveled, and then I love these. These are just resin now. I have the ceramic ones, but the resin ones don't break. You can use these 3.5-inch planters for your exotic angel Costa Farms planters. I feel like that white and that very simplistic shape really lends itself to more of a modern look. And you can see right here, plant stands. So I have a couple of plant stands that I have on my plants. Not all of my plants are just on the floor. I feel like they need to be elevated a little bit. And I've bought this Better Homes and Gardens plant stand at Walmart. It's not a bad price at all. And as far as plant propagation kits, this one is a really nice setup as well. Now, you can buy these on Amazon, but this propagation station, if you love to propagate plants, I am in love. I am obsessed in propagating my plants. That would be a nice little propagation station you can purchase at Walmart. Now, as you can see right here, a lot of Walmarts over the summer, at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, had downsized their plants. It looks like they're getting restocked again, which is exciting. You can see right here, we've got some asparagus ferns. Really like that a lot, and I didn't realize that asparagus ferns can actually thrive out in like more light, more like full sun. They are a thirsty plant, so you want to make sure that you are watering them, but they can tolerate full sun, at least from what I've seen. And then you can see right here, we have a Kimberly ivy. Now that ivy needs to be in shade. So depending on the ivy and the care is a little bit different. Now ivies in general for me are challenging because a lot of them are very thirsty plants. My grandmother says they're easy, and the way you propagate ivy is actually through plant separation from the mother plant versus like cutting. So I found that interesting. I don't really do a lot of plant propagation through separation, maybe with some like Aglaonema, but that's about it. Beautiful variegated ginger. So I've had variegated ginger in the past and I've tried to grow them indoors. This is another plant as gorgeous as that variegation, and then actually it's by Nature's Way for only $16.88. Really good price for such a large foliage plant. This plant doesn't do well indoors. It's one of those plants that will also get spider mites, kind of like a cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. It is a beautiful plant when grown outdoors. Now, in a more tropical or humid environment, you can actually have this in a landscape. I know even in Houston, they're able to grow some of these plants. Houston, Texas. And it's because they have higher humidity levels as compared to North Dallas, which is where I'm based at, and which is where a lot of my big box store plant shopping videos are filmed. It's actually in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And you can see right over here, while there's not nearly as many plants, they do have some plants available. Here again is for $16.88. This is another cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. I'm actually tempted to buy one just because I want a large foliage, dark foliage, pink, reddish tone plant like this one right here. There are some plants though that don't look as well as some of the others. This one right here on the very bottom, I wouldn't mind picking this up. Now obviously this is a plant you wouldn't be able to grow indoors long term, or I feel like it would be challenging to prevent spider mites from happening. But if you're able to, this is a gorgeous looking plant. Now this is a plant that does require quite a bit of light, so if you're able to provide it those lighting conditions, it will do perfect. But this one right here is for only $14.88. Actually, as I do this voiceover, I may come back and purchase this plant because that is really not a bad price for such a large foliage plant. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to grow a cordyline Hawaiian tea plant, you definitely need to just spray that down with neem oil. That is like literally my best friend in terms of just plant pest preventatives, is just spraying my plants down with neem oil. They've been doing very well in that sense. And you can see right over here some more beautiful plants, and I'm just going to pan around here and show you all of these gorgeous roses and bougainvillea that they have. It's interesting that they have these in bloom. Now with roses, you don't want to water them from the top, as in like you don't want to get their leaves wet, because it can potentially create fungus on the roses. Also, roses need to be out in full sun. I would water from the base, and I would not water roses in the evening. It's best to water them in the morning where they can actually dry up completely, but you really don't want to water roses, the rose leaves or even their blooms. You really want to water them from the bottom. Bougainvilleas, they're very drought tolerant plants, and honestly, if you actually give them a little bit more drought, they actually bloom even more so when they don't have a lot of water available to them. They are plants that need to be out in full sun. So I'm just going to pan around here and show you all of the beautiful blooms. also want to buy this particular bougainvillea. This one is a bougainvillea variegated form. This is called the blueberry ice. Beautiful pink flowers right here, but if you look at it, these can actually grow in Texas gardens. The only thing about it is bougainvilleas will not survive a cold Dallas winter. This one is only for $24.94. You would need to grow these on like in a container that you can overwinterize. Love the variegated leaves, beautiful plant as well, and I just love how delicate the flowers look. Now, as far as a variegated plant, this one wants a lot of sun, like full sun. And surprisingly, for a variegated plant, it doesn't have leaves that burn. And whenever you think of like variegated plants, you would think that the variegation would just automatically burn. But this particular plant, it can take full sun. It wants full sun for it to really bloom and look beautiful. And just look at how gorgeous that variegation is. This would make a really nice bonsai as well. I've done that in the past before where I made bougainvillea bonsai. That's not a bad value for it. And I love the fact that I am seeing this in full bloom right now. You know, late summer, early fall, actually fall, it's already the start of fall. You can see that there's still some beautiful flowers. And we have some hardy hibiscus. And so these are hibiscus that are considered perennials. These are hibiscus that are not the tropical hibiscus that wouldn't survive a cold winter. These are very much hardy plants that can grow. And I do love the dark foliage of these plants. This one right here is also another Lone Star type Texas garden. This one is called the hardy hibiscus head over heels adore. So that's the patented name, but this is for $24.94. Love the look of that as well. And we're just gonna look at some more hibiscus, but I haven't grown a hardy hibiscus in my garden. Please leave in the comments if you've grown hardy hibiscus. How do they work for you? Do they do well for you? Because the only hibiscus I've grown so far are the tropical hibiscus. And we're gonna look at this, like look at how beautiful that bloom is. I'm gonna just move some of this down so we can actually show how gorgeous the bloom is. What a stunning bloom. And in the Philippines, we call hibiscus gomamela. And I love, seeing all of those hibiscus when I was out in the Philippines. They just grew rampant. And look at how gorgeous the bloom of this one is. I love how there's so many different colors, the red, the orange, and then the yellow. That's just such a beautiful plant. Like I am actually wanting to buy this particular hibiscus because of the bloom. This is a hibiscus that you would have to grow in a container, at least for my grow zone, which would be 8B. So I mentioned this in a lot of my videos, but if you want to grow plants that are outdoors in your landscape, you have to do your research on first knowing your grow zone, and then number two, what does that look like in terms of the climate, and are you really able to grow that that plant sustainably long-term outdoors. But that would be a plant that I would have to put in a container and overwinter it, but it would be worth it because it's got such a beautiful bloom. And that's another thing I talk about plant foldies is a lot of the plants we discover for houseplants are typically not blooming plants. So one thing that I want to go focus on are blooming plants as well. So obviously I focus primarily on like indoor houseplants, but I also want to get into gardening. I also want to talk about landscaping, outdoor gardening, and then next year I want to go delve into vegetables because I did have some vegetables that I grew in my garden. And I will tell you, homegrown vegetables are always going to be the best because number one, you can protect yourself from like any kind of pesticides, and it is more cost effective, at least instead of having to buy organic vegetables. I just feel like the prices in general at all stores, whether you're just buying anything, has really skyrocketed. So there are many other ways that you can really budget and actually save money, whether it's like from your food, from your daily expenses, and definitely plants. Like I feel like some of the big box stores I've already covered. We've seen some plants and better plant pricing, and just being able to compare and contrast. I always say if you want to save money on plants, the best way to do so is go through plant swaps, join a plant community. I plan on making a Facebook group where we can, trade or share cuttings or propagations or give each other plants. Those are ways to really save money because a lot of times people actually end up saving money, but because of plant propagation. Now, I did see something kind of sad, and the whole term of prop lifting Anybody who goes into a big box store, a local nursery, somebody's personal collection, a botanical garden, and takes scissors and cuts plants, that is called stealing. And that is something that I feel like people have to really be cautious about, really have no tolerance on it, because I've heard that certain big box stores will even have people just taking plant cuttings. That is not okay. That is a form of stealing. And there was a recent article that I saw where this one lady was actually getting plants from botanical gardens by just going into these conservatories, and that was really disappointing because some of those plants were actually being preserved, and then just for somebody to go in there and just start cutting, taking cuttings, that's not okay. And I know that I've kind of been switching off of on these different subjects. I just have a lot of plant insights, and that's the thing. As I pick up these plants at Walmart, for instance, I just kind of think about what topics I want to discuss with everybody. I feel like, a lot of my plant shopping videos are really more of an organic conversation where I'm pretty much just telling you what's on my mind, whether it's plant care tips, whether it's personal news about me, whether what all of that looks like. But I will say, going to the plant swap out in North Haven Gardens yesterday was really exciting because I got to meet some really nice people. I am just excited in the fact that I will be able to go to more plant shows and to continue to connect with the community. I personally don't have a personal Facebook, but I feel like once I create one, I'll be able to open and unlock more venues to connect people. So stay tuned for that. And as you can see right here, plant foldies, this Walmart does have some cactus and succulents. I like that a lot. I did end up buying 2 succulents from Home Depot, actually 3 succulents, a variegated aloe vera plant, which is really cool, and then 2 other succulents. I am going to start collecting succulents, but what I want to do with the succulents is I actually want to repot them in more fast draining soil. So there's a particular bonsai soil mix that I buy from Amazon from the Bonsai Supply, really good fast draining soil, and I feel like it would be really well, do really well for my my succulent and cactus, which I am going to be increasing as I continue to be a little bit more familiar with the plants. And that's the thing though, plant foldies, a lot of the plant knowledge I know is really because I've learned from my grandmother, or it's years of experience of just growing certain plants. But when it comes to like cactus and succulents, that's one venue that I just really don't know a lot about. So please leave in the comments your plant care tips for that. I would really appreciate it. And what I do appreciate also is just seeing all of the gorgeous chrysanthemums or mums we see at all of these big box stores. So here's an example of a multicolor one by Better Homes and Garden. And I would say that Walmart probably has the most cost-effective chrysanthemums or mums out of any big box store or local plant nursery or even a grocery store. Although I will say probably Kroger has some really good mums as well. That's another local grocery store that I like to buy my plants there before I end up actually buying my groceries. It's really funny. Once you start doing big box store plant shopping videos, you grow into grocery stores, at least for me, not really searching to do groceries, but to actually go plant shopping. But what I also like is Walmart has recently restocked, and they have a bunch of these like mixed container of plants. I love the fact that their combinations are nice. Like I love that they have yellow mums next to this purple vine plant. You can see right here, we've got some petunias, and we have a resurgence of coleus plants. So at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I noticed that a lot of coleus plants started to disappear, started to just be downsized at a lot of local nurseries and even big box stores. Maybe the summer was really hot. With coleus, I have an obsession for coleus. I still love coleus. I still want to collect coleus. They are a very thirsty plant, and with very thirsty plants in the hot Texas summers that we have 100+ degree weather, they're not always going to do the very best. But I will say these coleus plants are so beautiful and they're so easy to propagate. I would dub coleus plants to be the easiest plants to propagate by just taking cuttings and sticking into soil. Like you are almost 95% guaranteed that they will take root and you will be able to multiply them. You can grow coleus long-term indoors. They're very versatile plants. They can get very, large sizes, and they do come in many different varieties. They have what you call sun coleus, where these coleus will literally be able to grow in full sun. And then we have most coleus though that need to be more so in the shaded area. I do love all of these containers, and so I'm just gonna go pan around here. Like, this one is such a beautiful coleus. I just have to take it down here and kind of show you all of that, and look at all of the colors and textures. I let my coleus plants actually flower, and hoping that all of the pollinators will be able to cross-pollinate them. We're gonna see what kind of coleus seedlings I'll get next year. I'm gonna collect the seeds and be able to grow them. I also wanted to mention that as I was looking at my garden the other day, which I filmed, I have a bunch of lantana, and my lantana are just going crazy. They're absolutely beautiful. But what made me happy is to be able to see a bunch of monarch butterflies feeding onto the, the nectar of the flowers. And, when I was growing up, monarch butterflies were very common. You saw them all the time, but now they have literally become an endangered species. And I just love the fact that I was able to film some of the monarch butterflies floating around my garden, and it was just a really nice sight. It's interesting how generations, like children these days, or I feel like children don't even realize how common monarch butterflies were, I would say back in the early 90s. And now we're, seeing a lot of these beautiful butterflies become endangered because of their food sources becoming less and less. So that was a really exciting, thing for me to see the other day when I was actually filming my lantana. I will say my outdoor garden is not the prettiest. I've got to really clean up the weeds, and it's just overgrown. But as I stare outside, I just love seeing so many butterflies just fluttering around, especially the monarch butterflies. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, I am just glad that Walmart has been restocked again. This was a Walmart that I visited not too long ago where it was really completely out. It looks like they got a restock. I ended up talking to one of the managers, and they mentioned that they will be getting even more plants. So that's really exciting that, Walmart will be restocking a lot of their plants, because typically a lot of big box stores will actually make room for their outdoor garden section to be more of like the holiday season. But you can see they've even got replenished by coleus plants, and I love coleus plants. If you know anybody who has coleus plants, they can literally just give you a couple of their cuttings and you'd be able to produce them. They're so easy to grow. Like, this is such a beautiful plant, and this is a plant foliage you can grow indoors, because coleus plants typically want to be in the shade anyway. So if you grow them indoors, it wouldn't be that big of a shock for them to grow in lower light conditions. Now, if you give them more light, just like any plant or the majority of plants, they'll give you better coloration, they'll give you more rapid growth, and they'll just be a little bit more healthy as compared to just putting them indoors all the way. But as you can see right here, these are Hedera helix, or what you call the Hedera helix, English ivy. These have been with this Walmart all season. It looks like nobody's bought them, but at the same time, it looks like they've also done very well, because I've noticed that the Hedera helix has now gotten a little bit woody, meaning that it's become a little bit more mature and it's ready to attach itself onto something. You can see that it is trailing. This is one of those English ivies that if you're going to use it as a ground cover, it needs to be contained. You need to make sure that there's a border, otherwise it will literally take over a yard. And it's a very invasive species, and it's a very tough species to get rid of. It's kind of like if you planted the herb mint. Once you put mint down in the ground, it is really hard to get rid of. And I'll tell you, they just have, they just keep popping up, like a weed. And then I'm just going to spin around here again, plant foldies, and just kind of show you all of the hibiscus and what other plants that they have here, all of the seasonal mums, and then we're going to go check out what's inside.
All of the time we spent together in our prime, we were birds of a
and you can see they've got some stunning mixed containers of different plants. They got some purple potato vines, they've got some coleus, they've got some chrysanthemums mixed in there, and just all the color combinations. I love how they mix the purple with the yellow. Those are complementary colors. And obviously look at how gorgeous these beautiful mums are, and these would make really nice patio displays. The thing about it is mums do have a shelf life. Once the blooms are done, they could rebloom, but for the most part, you would have to wait till next year. So you always want to buy your mums when they haven't really fully bloomed yet. Otherwise, they're not going to last as long for you. And you can see right here, I'm going to go ahead and pan around some more coleus plants. This one is, that one was the Main Street coleus. This one is a coleus campfire. I have that one. That one can actually grow in full sun. And we'll just keep looking at some of the plants around here. So we're looking at some Monstera deliciosa, and I actually ended up buying a Monstera deliciosa at this particular Walmart a little while back. My Monstera deliciosa is doing very well. The indoor tropical section of this Walmart is very bare, so I'm not going to spend too much time showing you the indoor tropical plants because they're pretty much the same and they really haven't replenished quite a bit. They're supposedly getting more plants, but we'll just take a look at some of the other plants that they have here. A lot of these plants are definitely easy to care for plants. Let's see. We got one right here. This is the Dracaena again. Now this one's in a 6-inch planter for $9.97. That is a really good price for a 6-inch planter, especially for a Dracaena. So not a bad price at all. Again, that is another plant that I would recommend for anybody wanting to start houseplants. Very easy to grow. And then we have Golden Pothos or Epipremnum aureum golden. Beautiful plant, easy to care for plant. Everybody needs to have like a Pothos or maybe even a dozen. They're never gonna fail you. They're very easy to care for plants and they're inexpensive. And you can multiply them very quickly because taking cuttings and like actually rooting them in water is super easy. So that is another plant that I would recommend if you wanted to grow some plants like that you could share. And then we have a bunch of Philodendron ring of fires. So this is a common philodendron, a variegated philodendron now, because I've seen this pretty much everywhere. So we'll see what that all looks like. And then we have some more philodendron right here. This is another philodendron ring of fire. It's got some beautiful variegation, but with philodendron ring of fire, if you wanted to get some really good variegation, you want to provide it with lots of light. That I would say is the factor that enhances their variegation. And you can see right here, we've got another Aglaonema for $14.97. This Aglaonema, I don't know the plant ID for it or if they have a plant ID. This one is by Costa Farms. It's a beautiful one, and it is one that I wouldn't mind buying. I think I'm going to end up rescuing it because I do love how faint the leaves are, and it is just a beautiful Aglaonema. I hope that Costa Farms continues to like release different types of Aglaonemas. I think that that is another plant that there's not a lot of excitement to because there's not a lot of plants or Aglaonema to choose from. Like this one right here, this is stunning. This is definitely going to go home with me. I did not plan on purchasing another Aglaonema, but what I like about it is this Aglaonema has many shoots, so it's super full already. The price is right. $14.97. The color is right. There's just slight cosmetic damage, but that isn't anything I'm too worried about. And it's just a really beautiful Aglaonema. This is one that you can put in a lower light setting and it will be okay. And that's really what you want, are plants that are easy to care for and a little bit lower light tolerant, because I feel like all of our indoor spaces are not really meant for us to grow plants, you know, long term without some type of supplementary lighting. But with Aglaonema like this one right here, this one can be put in a darker space in your home and it will do okay. Will it thrive? No, but it will definitely survive, and it will actually serve its purpose of, you know, becoming another type of greenery in a lower light setting. But as you can see right here, Plantfolio's not a lot of plants to really look at, so I'm just going to pan around and show you what plants they do have left. Most of these are Costa Farms trending tropical plants, a bunch of ZZ plants, some Ficus lyrata, some Epipremnum aureum, lemon meringue pothos. See, we have some Croton Petras right here. I do love Croton Petra. I may end up getting a Croton Petra here because the price is not bad at all, $16.94. So, you know, that's another plant that I feel like Walmart wins in terms of just the plant pricing, because most of these Crotons are either $19.84 at other big box stores or even in the $24 range. But these are pretty good sized plants. I wouldn't say the coloration's the best. I've seen some better coloration. Like there's the one, you know, some Crotons where they are either really dark red or like a burgundy color, and I prefer that, or even ones that are just fiery red or even yellow. But at the end of the day, they do make some nice fall statements. Crotons is just so interesting because they are a tropical plant, but people bring them out during the fall, and really Crotons don't like cold weather. They prefer hot, humid environments with bright light. So interesting. Now, as far as these would be the mums I would recommend you purchasing, because they're not in full bloom, so you'll be able to actually enjoy them a little longer for their blooms. And then we're gonna walk over here. This will be the final part where I show you. It looks like Costa Farms just sent a little bit of a palette fixture of some trending tropical plants. So we've got a bunch of beautiful Alocasia silver dragon right here. These are all for $19.84, and this one's actually a nice looking Alocasia silver dragon. Yep, nice plant, and I love the purple, or like the little purple veins on the undersides of the leaf. Now, as far as Alocasia, I have become so much more confident in growing Alocasia now that I've discovered the beautiful joy of putting them in pon. That's another substrate instead of just growing them in soil. I've noticed that growing them in pond has made it so much easier. Now, some people say there's not an acclimation period for growing Alocasia in pond. I feel like there is. And, you know, when I first put my variegated Alocasia frydek in pond, it didn't do as well for me. It actually ended up declining in its health. It lost 2 of its leaves, but I've noticed that it's growing another leaf. And my Xanthosoma Mickey Mouse actually lost a large leaf, but then it just pushed out a new leaf, and then there's a 3rd leaf I'm noticing is coming out of it. So it's starting to acclimate well. The one Alocasia that's not doing well in terms of just growing in pond would have been my Jacqueline, and literally lost all of its leaves. So we'll see if it'll shoot out any new shoots. And then my Alocasia cuprea. Here is a philodendron painted lady, beautiful yellow color, but that is another philodendron that easily reverts unless you give it quite a bit of light. And I even have some growing in grow, you know, like under a grow light, and it's still kind of reverting. It's not as yellow as when I first got it, which is a little bit disappointing. So that's the thing about neon colored plants. You really have to give them quite a bit of light for them to have that best yellow or neon variegation. Otherwise they start to revert. That is a beautiful plant. $19.84 by Costa Farms. And then we have an Alocasia Reginae, I think that's how you pronounce it. I will definitely purchase one of these because these are fully fresh, and I just love the fact that it is a very robust Alocasia. I love the shape of it, and then also the purple undersides. But when you touch the leaf, it's a very thick, waxy feel about it. So we'll see if I can actually acclimate that into pond. I'm definitely going to convert it into pond. But since they just recently got this shipment, I'm a little bit more confident. And that's the thing, plant foldies, you always want to buy plants, especially at a big box store, when they just had a recent restock, when the plants just made it from like their nursery source, whether it's in Florida. You just have a better chance of just survival for some of these plants when you actually grow them there. So I just wanted to make sure that I purchased this before they stay in this big box store longer, because I feel like the longer a plant stays at a big box store, the higher potential of it for declining in its health, the higher potential of it getting some type of plant pest. So what better way to get a healthy plant than to buy it when it is just freshly unpacked and it just came from, like, say, Costa Farms. So as you can see, plant foldies, this is my plant shopping video for the day. There were quite a bit of plants. I would say, you know, Lowe's definitely has a little bit more plants still, but Walmart is starting to restock and just get some more plants in. You know, Walmart's plant pricing has always been very affordable, and that's the thing about big box or plant shopping. As much as we want to support local plant nurseries, sometimes you will get the better value in terms of the plant pricing for the plants. But what a beautiful morning when I went out and filmed this video right here. You can see there's just so many beautiful plants. I cannot get over how gorgeous these coleus plants are. That is another plant obsession of mine that has not necessarily disappeared. I will be curious to see how I can actually overwinter some of my coleus plants. I definitely am not going to be able to keep all my coleus plants because they've grown so large. I may just have to take cuttings and store them for the winter and then regrow them in the spring so I don't have to. But as you can see right here, I did buy this Alocasia. If you like this video, please hit that like button. That is one thing that helps my channel, as well as subscribing to my channel at Growfolds. This is Richie. I will have a brand new video for you tomorrow. See you then. Thank you.